Welcome to Aragon for After the Flag edition 14, where on his 200th appearance, Marc Marquez wins his 78th Grand Prix. Thanks for joining us here in Aragon, where it's actually overcast. It feels like it might rain. It might have spiced things up a little bit more had it come a few hours earlier. I'm Steve Day, Matt Burt, Simon Crafar here to analyse the day, where in his 200th GP, then Marquez wins it. Although, in truth, Matt, from pretty much 2 laps into free practice 1 on Friday, we kind of knew what was going to happen. It hasn't changed. He did everything we expected him to. He went out there, he dominated, he got a rocket start as well. Plan A, gone.
Yeah, I mean, the writing was on the wall, wasn't it, so to speak. As soon as he rolled out of pit lane on Friday morning in FP1, he was been in complete control of the whole weekend from that moment onwards. Pole position, relatively comfortable. And as you said, Steve, he executed plan A to perfection. He wanted to get the whole shot, got a brilliant start off the line, brilliant anticipation of the lights. And from that moment onwards, you thought it's an uphill task for everybody to match him. He pushed real hard for those first 3 or 4 laps, got that buffer that he wanted, and from then on he just stage managed it absolutely brilliantly. You know, it wasn't a great spectacle, but you just have to stand back and marvel at the talent of the guy. He's riding on a different level right now. Nobody was close to him this weekend. He was absolutely awesome.
Unfortunately, because of the format and the way it is, we don't actually know what the top 3 said in the press conference because we missed it. We were in the commentary box bringing you Moto 2. But Simon, all we can say is it was just class out front.
Yeah, well, Mark, there's nothing more than that I can add from what Matt said because, yeah, he was absolute class and he did, like I predicted, get the start and then manage it, not run away further. Anyway, but just behind Mark, I think that's where the interesting things happened. And Maverick, I just wanted to say I didn't count Maverick for a podium because of his weakness somewhere. Pretty much every race in the last year, somewhere there's been a weakness, meaning even when he won at Assen, he got the start, then had a mid-lull like in Misano, then came back at the end. But today, I've got to say, that's the Maverick I was hoping to see. It was absolutely brilliant ride from him all the way through.
Well, I mean, I think we all feel pretty gutted for Maverick Viñales because he put in most of the hard yards. We won't give away our predictions just yet. You can have a look at those in a wee bit. But Maverick Viñales, I mean, today, Matt, we thought coming into this it was going to be Mark that won in truth. It will not be a surprise to you, our predictions for P1. But P2, most of us had a feeling Yamahas would be a lot stronger, but they just got murdered down the back straight today.
Well, the race was a perfect illustration of exactly where Yamaha's issues are. We saw in the first sector, most of the way around sectors 2 and 3, you know, Maverick with the corner speed. When he got into second place and he could run his rhythm, he was really, really fast. And he was never going to catch Marc Marquez, was he? But, you know, Jack Miller behind him, Andrea Dovizioso really, really piled the pressure on it. And coming out of turn 15, I mean, it was embarrassing. The difference between the Ducati and the Yamaha on the straight, I mean, you're talking probably 15, 20 horsepower there. I mean, you could see Maverick when Dovi and Miller came past him, big, big shake of the head. It's got to be so disheartening. Simon would know, you know, so disheartening, so demoralising when you are riding on your absolute limit, putting your heart and soul into it, and there's just nothing you can do because the guys just come past you, rip the paint off the side of your motorcycle. I really felt for Maverick actually because he couldn't do any more.
Sorry for shouting, by the way. The Red Bull rookies are out on circuit as well. We've got it all going on. We're probably going to get soaked in a minute as well. We've got to talk about, obviously, the Ducatis finishing in second and third. First of all, we'll start with Andrea Dovizioso. Simon, I know that you've spoken to Davide Tardozzi, so you can give us our views on that, but they must be delighted. Aragon here, they didn't do too badly last year, but from 10th on the grid, that was a brilliant ride from Andrea Dovizioso today.
It really was. I think, like I said to him on Parc Ferme, he showed his experience and the Ducati's power. The other thing was he made, I think, probably a key decision right before the race, put that soft rear in because the temperature, it got a little bit overcast, and he said I think he believed it was on the edge between the hard and the soft, depending on track temperature. And then the rest is history. He just put it together beautifully. I don't know if he would have done it on the hard rear. Well, we'll never know. Just to back up a bit about Maverick, you know, the Yamahas, we all expected them to be 1 or 2 on the podium. The scary thing is that it wasn't just the straight line speed they were down. They all complained. I spoke to both Yamaha team managers. All riders complained lack of rear grip, acceleration off the turns. And guys, I mean, Rossi said from lap 6 the rear tyre was dead. They had the hard. All the riders had the hard.
Yeah.
So we're never going to know, we're never going to know if it was the rear tyre choice or Yamaha have still got that problem.
It's funny because I was going to bring up the fact that the Yamahas all went for the hard, and all three guys on the podium today all had the soft. We'll go back to Jack Miller in a moment, and I'll get your thoughts on Dovi as well. But just quickly to round up the Yamaha situation, Rossi had a bit of a nightmare in general. He finished down in 8th today, never really competitive. Franco Morbidelli obviously got punted off early on. Fabio Quartararo not really finding his way up towards the front end to battle for a podium either.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that Fabio was around 5th place, because that's what he kind of predicted for himself before the race. The big shock for me today was Rossi on the Yamaha. I mean, I can't remember too many races where Valentino, the only thing he did in the whole race was go backwards. You know, he did not pass anybody. We normally know he's very aggressive. He couldn't find a way through on Aleix Espargaro on the Aprilia, who for me was absolutely incredible, probably one of the men of the race today. But yeah, I mean, Rossi just did not get going. Simon just mentioned, you know, from lap 6 onwards, he couldn't buy a 149. You know, he was just marooned in those mid to 150s. His pace just sort of flatlined. He didn't get any slower, but he just couldn't make any progress whatsoever. You know, it was a really, really deflating experience for Valentino.
I spoke to Wilco Zeelenberg, and he said that they didn't, meaning Fabio, the team, they didn't have the pace they expected, race pace. Fabio said he was like this. It felt like if he pushed any harder, something would go wrong, and he had to, in his words, let it go and just bring it home safe, which is wise for a kid that age.
Well, yeah,
experience.
maybe, you know, with the overcast conditions, that hard tyre, as you say, we'll never know, but maybe that was the Achilles heel for Yamaha. Let's just go back again then to Ducati. Your thoughts on Dovi today and Jack Miller. I mean, a brilliant ride, only his second dry podium, and he finished right behind Dovi. That's the most important thing on the line.
Well, what they both did today was they utilised the maximum strength of their motorcycle underneath him, and they both rode with their heads, as I mentioned. You know, Dovizioso, he's a wily old campaigner. Didn't make a great start, Andrea Dovizioso, but then just worked his way through the field. All along, Andrea was adamant, even despite qualifying 10th, that if you looked at the analysis of the lap by laps, he felt like he was going to be probably best of the rest. He called it absolutely spot on. And you know, Jack, I think he rode really, really smart. You know, perhaps in the past, Jack's not been given a lot of credit for
exactly.
You know, the way he tackles races tactically. But, you know, I think there was one point in the race where he saw Maverick not really breaking away, and Jack thought, you know what, because he's not going, I'm going to save my tyres a little bit here, attack at the end of the race. So Jack boxed really, really clever. And I'm so happy that he got on the podium. Nice long flight back home for him tomorrow to surprise his mum. Perfect.
We mentioned this before, Simon, about Jack earlier on in the season, and we're going to bring it up again. Maturity.
Today was the best race I've ever seen Jack do, because I was waiting for some little mistake. Sorry, Jack, but some wrong move, little mistake somewhere, and he never made one. Hats off. I think everyone is going to look at Jack a little bit more seriously, meaning other competitors from today on.
A quick one on Danilo Petrucci as we're talking about Ducati. He's in a little bit of a negative spiral at the moment, boys.
Terrible. I mean, what has gone wrong since Mugello, really? I mean, that fantastic maiden victory, since then it's just been a downward spiral, a slippery slope. 33 seconds he was behind Mark today, and that's when Mark cut the throttle for the last couple of laps. That's over a second a lap he's losing. It seems like he's just got no confidence in the rear, no grip. You know, he's a big, heavy guy, Danilo Petrucci, but you see him moping around the paddock. It's like the enjoyment right now in racing has been sucked out of me. He's in a bit of a hole and has got to find some way out of it, because those two GP19s alongside him were on the podium today, so he can't blame the bike.
No.
I spoke to Davide Tardozzi after the race, or just before after the flag here, and he kept it really short, his quote. He said, Dovizio did everything right that we knew he could from the beginning, just qualifying didn't go right. And on the other side of the garage, he said, we are fully committed to getting Danilo back like we had at the beginning of the year, and he believes they're going to do it before the end of the year. That's
Well, a quick nod to Cal Crutchlow. He finished 6th today. Couldn't quite get in contention for a top 5 finish overall, but anything would be better than Misano, I think, if you ask Cal after what happened last week. A nod to KTM as well. Miguel Oliveira was their highest placed finisher. Of course, we send our best regards to Pol Espargaro, hoping he gets well soon. But let's just move on to his brother quickly, Aleix Espargaro. He did a great job today. He hung in there for a long, long time. His pace just faded a little in the end, but 7th place, he's got to be happy with that.
I wish I was wearing a hat right now, because I would absolutely doff it. I thought, aside from Mark, who was on another planet, Aleix for me was man of the race. He rode absolutely incredible, doing things on that RSGP that you shouldn't really be capable of doing, you know, like he rode to his absolute maximum. You know, he kept some really good guys behind him for a long, long time today. Just couldn't quite hang on to that top 6, which he really deserved from Cal Crutchlow, but they're working hard behind the scenes at Aprilia. They're not perhaps seeing the strides forward that they want, but what a morale boost for the whole team in general. It's going to give them a real big lift going into the final 5 race. And we know Aleix, he wears his heart on his sleeve. You know, he rode absolutely phenomenal. I'm so happy for him, and I'm so happy for Aprilia as well.
Like Matt always does, he summed it up perfectly. Yeah, there was one scene in there I saw where the Aprilia was ahead, and it didn't look as slow as I expected on that 1 kilometre straight. And I think hats off to Aprilia. I think they are making some progress. But about Aleix, can you imagine what he would have done today if he had as good a bike as the guys he was racing against?
Yeah, very true indeed. Of course, his last podium was here in Aragon. He loves this place. I bet he wishes every round was Aragon. Okay, let's see what we predicted here yesterday then, just after the qualifying session. Okay, here are my predictions then for Aragon. For me, first place, the easiest one of the year by far. Mark is going to absolutely blitz them. So he's taking 25 points. The best of the rest is a little bit harder, but I'm going to go for exactly the same prediction as I picked last week in Misano and hope that this time it comes off. Maverick Viñales in second, and I'll go Fabio Quartararo third. I would have put Alex Rins in were it not for qualifying today, but they're my predictions.
Well, I'm really going to stick my neck out here and say Marc Marquez for the victory here in Aragon. No great surprise there. He's been absolutely dominant throughout practice. Tough to pick the best of the rest. I'm actually going to go for Maverick Viñales to be second, and I'm going to go for a bit of a surprise. I was going to pick Quartararo to be third, but I think Valentino Rossi inside the top 6 on those first 2 rows. I think Rossi will come through and take the final place on the podium. Marquez, Viñales and Valentino Rossi, that's my top 3 in Aragon.
I'm going to go for Marc because I think that's the obvious choice to win. Second, like everyone else, is a little bit tougher choice, but Fabio has been not only fast, he's been consistent. So I'm going to go Fabio for second, and I'm going to throw a real wild card in here and go for Dovizioso for third, because he's great off the start, even if he's in a bad position. He's a wily old fox, and I'd want to be on a Ducati down that almost 1 kilometre long straight.
Oh, well, there you go then. We all got a point there for Marc Marquez. Not that we were exactly sticking our necks out with that one. I will just doff my cap a little bit to our buddy Simon here for getting Dovizioso at least in there.
Thanks, mate.
No one's done that for me so far this year when it's happened the other way around. But hey, you know, I'm a good guy. What can I say? Okay, from here we move on to Buriram in Thailand. We head off into the flyaways as well. Marc Marquez 98 points up, guys. I mean, it's obvious which way this championship is going, but last year in Buriram it was a really spicy race, not just between Marquez and Dovi, but the Yamahas were in there as well, so reason to get a little bit excited. Hopefully maybe we can get some last lap battles back.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, fantastic race last year, won by Marc at the last corner. Brilliant experience, wasn't it, to go to Thailand for the first time. The Thai people really embraced the Buriram Grand Prix. Yeah, let's hope it is another classic, because Viñales and Rossi were not too far behind that podium battle last year, but fingers crossed. You know, I don't mind Marc winning, but I want to see him fight for it, so yeah.
The Yamahas weren't far behind last year, and they've made a good step forward. Yeah. I think they could give Marc a stir-up.
Well, that rounds things up then here in Aragon. I hope that you've enjoyed it here this weekend. Okay, maybe not the greatest race that we've seen so far in MotoGP in 2019, but Marc Marquez is getting closer. He's fishing his way to that title. Will he get his big catch over in Thailand? We'll see you over in Buriram in a few weeks' time. Thanks for joining us here. We'll see you then. Aragon is underway. It was a good start that from Marc Marquez. Marquez leads into turn 1.
Look at this, the top speed difference between the Ducati and the Yamaha. Aragon's been all about one man.
Marc Marquez takes another step towards an 8th World Championship.
His 200th Grand Prix start and 78 wins.
it.